we are ready. When some people look at an aura around a person, they will only see one color. They will only see one shape. Whereas another person might see 7 different, distinct separations, sections.
Okay, let's move on to, why did Buddha return as Jesus?
Okay. Because there were other lessons, he had a mission, other things to be taught. We understand that the concept of reaching enlightenment, for some, this is it. There should be no need to return to this earth in another body. But when you are in energy, such as Buddha and Jesus, there is a need for many to understand in various places upon the planet. And time passes, and things need to be said in a different way. The same message can be said in several different ways, and it is understood by some through Buddhism, and there are others who understand it through Christianity. It is so that the message can be given out and received by many more than would ever have been possible through just one lifetime.
Okay.
Yes, we want to say that Buddha, the spirit of Buddha, was, and we know this will confuse many, was already enlightened when he entered his body. But then the path to enlightenment needed to be taught and needed to be experienced so that others could follow the way. It is all about remembering, truly. Everyone who is here at this time, everyone is connected. Everyone has access to all knowledge. Everyone is enlightened. They just do not remember it. And some do not choose to remember it during their lifetime. And others choose to not only remember it, but to teach the way. Any other questions?
Yes. Let's talk about astral projection. What is the key to astral projection? Is it considered relaxation, a journey?
It is both. It is the body relaxing so that the spirit and mind can journey. There are some who can disconnect their spirit from the body while in a meditative state or in a sleep-like state. Some will remember where they traveled to. They can direct their energies to go to certain places, to go visit faraway places, or just to visit a neighbor down the street. And that is one form. Others will use astral projection to explore the spiritual realms and to assist with spiritual healing, physical healing of others. And some will use it to give readings, spiritual readings, psychic readings.
Would that be considered in the case of Edgar Cayce?
This is a very good example. He was able to be in a state, even though he was not truly sleeping. It was more of a very deep meditation. And he could see the person and visit them and understand what was wrong physically and be able to access information from the spiritual realm as to what would assist them in their healing. He did much traveling.
Yes, he did. I'm going to read the way he put this, and I think there's a little disconnect here. Why is our consciousness confined and limited to the senses?
Do you believe this is what he wants to ask?
I don't believe our consciousness is limited in any way.
No, it is not.
What are the procedures to see beyond time and space and feel the oneness? I believe he's talking about out-of-body experience.
It does not need to be out of body.
Yeah, right.
You can experience this while in your body.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about part of this before, but we don't feel it was understood at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we would like to discuss enlightenment, or what has he called it?
Consciousness confined and limited to the senses.
Okay. It is not, we have said this, confined to the senses. Because when you are traveling, when you are physical, in a physical body, there are many more senses than most realize. This is what we'd like to say. There are spiritual senses, physical senses, emotional senses, and there are even mental senses. We want to try to stay with his question as much as possible, even though we feel it does not really do justice to what he truly wants to ask. When someone experiences enlightenment, it is an experience of reconnecting with all that is.
Source energy.
Right. So there is the ability to do this while still alive and in a body. Just because you reach enlightenment does not mean you have to die at that moment or go into spirit and never return in another life or in that same life. The process can happen. Enlightenment can be reached. And we know this is where some have issues. You can reach enlightenment in the process of having an orgasm, if it is truly in a moment of love and oneness with everything. Not everyone will experience this every time, but it can happen.
You're speaking of heightened senses.
Yes. And you can also experience enlightenment when you are in a state of complete joy, possibly while looking at a view. There are some that will reach enlightenment, a moment of enlightenment. This is how we should say it. People will glimpse it many times in their life. They will have moments when they see something that brings them such complete joy that they feel oneness with the entire universe. Some will feel it when they hear a piece of music, something that brings you to tears or to complete laughter, where you feel that you are connected and you don't doubt it. There is no doubt at that moment. When you see a baby laughing with that complete abandon, a small child, that moment that child is experiencing enlightenment. They may only be a few months old, but they are in a state of such joy and bliss that there is no other thing to do but to connect and to be one with everything. There are some people who will never experience this during their lifetime. They will strive and reach for it, but they always believe that it is out of reach. They believe that it is only for those who sit and meditate for hours on end, for those who cast away all life journeys, life pain and issues, all of reality. And this is not true. This does not have to be the way. Often those who search and search and search may finally find enlightenment, but it will come at a great cost. There is much suffering that will occur. There is much time spent away from loved ones, and this is not necessary. This actually goes back to part of the reason why Buddha returned as Jesus, to show another way to reach enlightenment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.